Hey everybody, it's Flare31 here. Welcome back to more Pokemon Yellow version. In the last episode, we did quite a little bit of exploring down around Vermilion City. We took the underground path to get here, fought a lot of trainers, and then we went due east and fought a lot of trainers out on Route 11, ultimately getting blocked by a sleeping Pokemon. I don't know how that works, but regardless, we also got our third party member, Rossetti, a Diglett. So that was exciting. And the only thing we just about didn't do, and the only thing we really can do, is go down to this port here. So that's what we're going to be doing. SS Anne is a famous luxury cruise ship. We visit Vermilion once a year. Welcome to SS Anne. Okay. Excuse me, do you have a ticket? Red flashed the SS ticket. Great, welcome to SS Anne. And look at this screen. What's funny is you can actually fish here, and if you had surf, you could surf on here. There isn't anything for you to see though. The passengers are restless. You might be challenged by the more bored ones. Yeah, so this is actually a dungeon. Bonjour, I am the waiter on the ship. I will be happy to serve you in anything you please. Ah, the strong silent type. I guess that's pretty apt, an apt description. And because this is a dungeon, you should be prepared to do a lot of battling. There's also no way to heal on the ship, so you'll have to leave and come back unless you want to like blow through your potions. You, mon petit, we are busy here. That is the way. So this is like the mess hall or the cafeteria or the kitchen. It could kind of be any of the above. I saw an oddball in the trash. It's kind of got kitchen vibes, actually. I'm so busy, I'm getting dizzy. I am the chef. Le main course is prime beefsteak. Ooh, that sounds nice. But have I enough filets du beef? Okay. Okay, bro, my French is rusty, I can't be doing this for forever. Snivel, sniff. I only get to peel onions. Snivel, okay. Now, yeah, in this trash can specifically, you can find a great ball that someone just threw away for some reason. Did you hear about Snorlax? All it does is eat and sleep. Sounds suspiciously familiar. No. I peel spuds every day. Okay. Yeah, there's nothing else in the other trash cans. And there's also no trainer battles there, which is kind of why we went there first. Just, you know, get out of the way. Now, we're gonna go actually bottom to top. And there is, you know, 3 whole floors, if you will. If this is the first floor, then this is the basement. And we're just gonna kind of go, like, end to end here. Oh. I thought there was one more room. And this is where all the trainer battles are. Hello, stranger. Stop and chat. All my Pokemon are from the sea. Fisherman. So, this is why I wasn't too keen on using, like, or training Rossetti on the boat. And that's because lots and lots of water types. Now, this is also part poison. So, we're kind of chilling on that front. I also don't know if Tentacle even gets a water move. So, that one, not a big deal for us. This one almost certainly has Bubble. I can't imagine that it doesn't. So yeah, Chubby Chew is going to be having a blast here, but basically everyone else, not so much. Tackle. Maybe it doesn't have Bubble. Goddamn Gen 1 move pools being weird. Ooh, double level up. A Shelter. I really want to switch train, but I'm gonna resist. Resist the urge. Wow, we actually one-shot something. Darn, I let that one get away. Alright, let's do a little check-in. Okay, we're still good. Matey, you're walking the plank if you lose. Sailor. With a Machop. Ooh, not a water type. And it's also high leveled. Oh my god. Let's just go for it. Ooh, karate chop. At least it doesn't get stabbed. That does get stabbed though. Ooh, okay, there's no need for such power. But we're chilling. Ah, get beaten by a kid. Now up here on this guy's like pillow is a hyper potion. I hope he doesn't mind that we just robbed him. You know, unfortunately, we are kind of low on health, so I think I'm gonna go heal. Does it work here? It doesn't work here. But I said it was a dungeon-ish count. Whatever, I'll be back. Alright, we are back, and we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next room. And there's this guy in here. We're just gonna go for it. Sailors at Pokemon 2. I want your item, bro. Sailors. A tentacle, we love to see it. A dig it is. Supersonic, okay. Ain't no jellyfish using supersonic in real life. It's not happening. Another Staryu. I'm gonna keep to my law of don't risk it. Pika. Pikachu! I do think it's kind of impressive, actually, that they managed to get that voice clip on the Game Boy. It's compressed to hell, but they still got it on there. Okay, you're not bad. And what were you hiding? Team 44? Whoa, what team is this? Ooh la la. Rest. Ooh, okay. We're not gonna teach Rest to a Pokemon, but good to know. Rest is it's a nice move. Maybe not so much in single player, but we don't really have anything that I'd really want to put Rest on. Like, Lumen's the closest thing we have, and I'm not too keen on the idea. I like feisty kids like you. Ew. A horsey, huh? I'm really wanting to get Pikachu to level 26, level 60. Wouldn't that be crazy? Of course not. My speed! Another horsey. Is this just going to be a party of horsies? And... oh, what do we... yeah, okay. Yawn. I'm kind of surprised that Pokechu's been able to handle it, actually. Bubbles from a horsey, you know, not the easiest thing for something like Pikachu to live. Ah, I lost it. Might have to heal again. Ether. We'll take that. Go in here. Oh, there's two of you. You know what? You only live once. My sailor's pride is at stake, he says. I like how this is like a cruise ship, and then like everyone on here is just a sailor. Or at least everyone down here is a sailor. I guess you could say this is the employee area. Maybe that makes sense. Okay. Okay, Pikachu. Yeah, I need you to one-shot. Alright, I need you not to die. That is also important. Oh my god, this one also had 3. Alright, we've one-shot these before, we should be fine. Perfect. Ooh. There's no way it has. I don't believe it. I'm calling its bluff. Rossetti? This may be a suicide mission. But we're fine. It missed Supersonic. I still don't think it has a water type move. I've yet to see it. Level 26, there it is. Yeah, that's what we're learning. Thunderbolt. Oh, it's so worth learning. Get rid of Thunder Shock immediately. Now we can actually one-hit things again. Your spirit sank me. Okay, well, before we fight this other guy, I am gonna go heal again. Alright, we're back in the fight with you know what they say about sailors in fighting. No? I don't think they say anything. Sailor wants to fight. Shelter. You know what? This is a job for the new and improved Chubby-Chew, yeah. Shelter's defense is really high, so Lumen would not work very well here. Oh, that animation is so good. Right, good fight, mate. Okay, we're still fine. Let's go ahead and leave that room. That was the second room from the right, in case anyone was trying to keep track. You're not gonna fight me? My buddy Machoke is super strong. He has enough strength to move big rocks. Ooh. Whoa, bro. That was close enough, right? A max potion. Ooh. Alright, we're getting a lot of like good items all of a sudden. Alright, we've cleared out the basement. Let's go ahead and start our sweep of the first floor. Oh. I travel alone on my journeys. My Pokemon are my only friends. Well, this is definitely not a sailor. We're in like the passenger area. Gentleman wants to fight. Ooh, Growlithe. Perfect. They did a really good job with Growlithe's sprite in this particular game. I think like most of the front sprites were changed for Pokemon Yellow. If not all of them. Nah, I like this one. It is quite nice. Ooh, a crit. We did not need that, but we'll take it. We need to look at our PP, though. Bye, my friends! We're getting some money, too. Help fund our Pokedex. Alright, what does this guy got? You pup, how dare you barge in? Well, how dare you leave your door open if you don't want to be barged in on? Nidoran male, ooh, okay. You don't see those very often. Oh, we still got plenty of PP. Okay. Bye-bye. Man, when Rossetti gets to level 26, it will evolve. And that'll be a good time. I'll have 3 Rossettis. Harumph, you rude child. Well, choose better Pokemon, what can I say? What's the old saying? Get good? Waiter, I would like a cherry pie, please. I am not the waiter, and also we don't serve cherry pie here. I looked, they were doing prime beef steak. A cruise is so elegant yet cozy. That is true. I always travel with Wigglytuff. Where did you get a Wigglytuff? Wow. Get like a random moonstone or something? That's pretty cool. We are cruising around the world. Okay. I love Pokemon, do you? You know what? You could say that. I like Pokemon between a very specific set of years in the real world. Not so much after those specific set of years. Okay, we are on the train of everything being weak to Rossetti all of a sudden. This is really nice. Wow, you're great. Yeah, we'll clean it up, why not? I collected these Pokemon from all around the world. Wait a second. Were they hinting at other regions before they even existed? Surely this wasn't a throwaway line. Alright, well, I've met my counter because, you know, Dig's not going to do anything here. And Lemon should be able to put in the work needed here. Yes, still not flying type move, by the way. But still gets stabbed because Pidgey's part normal. We'll just go for Pound. I really don't like using Bubble Beam unless it's super effective. Ooh, we're getting closer. Sand attack. Nidoran female. Okay, well, we can switch back to that. There's no way it has anything that will threaten me, for real. Poison Sting. Nope. That was a crit, too. And we have terrible defense. So that was kind of sad. And there we go. Oh no! I went around the world for these! Yeah, you also didn't have anything exotic whatsoever, so... still good. What is this? TM08. I know what this one is. But in case I sound stupid, we'll check it anyway. Body Slam, here it is. They just give you Body Slam inside of this. And frankly, there's no reason not to use it. We're going to be teaching that immediately to Lumen. That's right, Lumen's finally shedding Pound. Yes, get rid of it. I don't want to play with you anymore. Alright, I'm glad we resolved that. Get going again. One more room here. Yep, one more. What you guys say? I'm a global police agent. I'm on the trail of Team Rocket. Looker, is that you? Unfortunately, NPCs don't have a name in this game, so it's probably just a random nobody. This ship, she is a luxury liner for trainers. At every port, we hold parties with invited trainers. But Bill's not a trainer, right? There's no way he was invited because he's a trainer. Still doing good. Let's go ahead and go up again. This might seem kind of counterintuitive to what I was saying earlier, but our captain is a sword master. He even teaches cut to Pokemon. Cut, you say? That sounds like a weak, normal type move. Ahoy there. Are you seasick? Sailor wants to fight with a Machop. Okay. And wipe this thing up. It's so nice to be able to one-shot things. Take notes, Pikachu. Alright, well this was a wash. I was just careless. Yes, you were. Just challenging me without knowing who I am. The kid with the Pikachu. If I feel ill, I stepped out to get some air. Yeah, so we are actually on the bow of the ship. That's what this is, right? My nautical vernacular not up to date, but either way, this is a dead end. So that's why we're going here. Scrubbing decks is hard work. All right. I feel so powerful. You know, okay, well, hold on. Hey, matey. Let's do a little jig. You know, I've actually been on one cruise ship in my life, at least one that I remember. And you know, it was an interesting experience. I do recommend that you go on one cruise. You don't necessarily need to go on a bunch of them, but just one, because it's something worth experiencing. It's kind of cool just being on such a large piece of steel in the ocean and being able to like look out at the waves and stuff like that. I have a feeling Scratch is not going to take care of this, but also I want to save my PP. I'm risking it. Okay, good job, Rossetti. Ooh, I was not wanting to fight this anyway. Alright, I'm going to go to Lumen anyway, because we have Body Slam now. So we should be chilling a little bit better. Paralyzed. Oh. It never works for me. Oh, that defense raise was just enough. But it won't save you from this one. Bye. You're impressive. Thanks. The party's over. The ship will be departing soon. Oh. That'd be kind of cool to have it, like, actually depart while you're on it. But, spoiler, it doesn't do that. Alright, I need to heal again. I'll be back. And we are back with a healed Pokemon team. A healed party. In all my travels, I've never seen any Pokemon sleep like this one. It was something like this. Snorlax, the sleeping Pokemon. It kind of looks like a beanbag chair. Yeah, that definitely looks like what we saw on the road earlier. Oh, hi. Check out what I fished up. Is it a Goldeen? A horsey? A tentacle? A shelter? It was a Goldeen. I'm jealous, but also not really. There's no way. Does this have water gun? I guess I shouldn't risk it. I suppose I shouldn't risk it. We're just gonna go straight to Chubby Joe. Oh, it's got Peck. I love that animation so much. You feel so powerful after the like absolute misery we've been living in. We were basically just like a Charmeleon that has Ember for like the entire game. But now we're unshackled. I should have switched back, but it's okay. I didn't need to risk I didn't need to risk it supersonicking. And I was going to switch back again for this anyway. Done deal. I'm all out. And then this one. Competing against the young keeps me youthful. That is true. That is a pro tip, actually. Doing youthful activities keeps you youthful. So does having children to some extent. Alright, we're at electric types. I don't know what they're doing here. Bye. You got another one? Another one for me? For little old me? Yes, yes! A boom. Good fight. Ah, I feel young again. I guess I am 10 years old. In canon. Probably. Alright, let's go ahead and, yeah, we'll switch back. Max Ether. Ooh. We're getting spoiled with items here. We're getting some good ones, that is. Okay. I don't think either of you are trainers, though. Pokemon can cut down small bushes. Ah, yes, I have seen some Pokemon ferry people across the water. Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, okay. Which do you like, a strong or a rare Pokemon? I'm gonna go with strong. That's the only correct answer. Oh, what do I want to use? I'm gonna use Bubble Beam. They probably do about the same amount of damage, honestly. I'm just gonna use it because it has more PP. Yeah, it still worked. Also, I can't remember if Lumen's attack or special is higher. I think the attack is slightly higher. And we'll go Bubble Beam again. This Ponyta got nothing on us. I also like how this guy was like, do you like strong or rare Pokemon? And then he's got a strong Pokemon, because Growlithe is a strong Pokemon. And then he's got a rare Pokemon, because Ponyta's a rare one. I must salute you. You too. I never saw you at the party. Me neither. A Jigglypuff, a level 20 Jigglypuff too. Well, we can take care of that. Not a problem there. And there's the level up I was looking for. Take it easy. Rare candy, ooh. I think we're gonna hoard rare candies. I think we've already decided we're gonna do that. Hi. Have you gone to the Safari Zone in Fuchsia City? It had many rare kinds of Pokemon. I can't say that I have. Me and my daddy think the Safari Zone is awesome. It kind of sounds like a zoo to me. And it'll depend on what you think of zoos, whether you think it's awesome or not. I think we're gonna put Chubby Chew up front. Sounds like the play to me right now. How about you ladies? The captain looked really sick and pale. Well, that's not good. I hear many people get seasick. I feel like being a captain and then also getting seasick, not a good combination. So we have a basically fully healed team. I will caution you that you should heal before you walk up here. Cool, everyone's good? Yep, okay, let's go. Bonjour, Red. Imagine seeing you here. Red, sorry, okay. Weird dialogue split. Imagine seeing you here, Red. Were you really invited? So how's your Pokedex coming? I already caught 40 kinds, pal. I have almost 30. Shut up, okay? Different kinds are everywhere. Crawl around in the grassy areas. You know what? I just haven't done the Professor Oak challenge like you have. And this is why we started with Chubby Chew. Because the rival always wants to start with his flying type. And I had to flex a little bit and be like, look at my strong and powerful Pokemon. This, though, this is maybe a different story. I'm not entirely sure how I want to deal with this. I'm not the happiest camper in the world right now. I'm also, I think I'm gonna Thunder Wave. I think that's gonna be the move, and then I'll maybe switch into Rossetti. Yeah, yes. Surely Rossetti is the play. Let's go for Dig, of course. Okay. I wasn't entirely confident that would one-shot, but... Ooh, I forgot about Sandshrew. Good thing we switched out, honestly. I'm not super happy about this, though. I think we're gonna switch into Lumen so we can Bubble Beam. Because it's got Slash, right? Yeah. Didn't want to deal with that, in all honesty. It's super effective. Okay, and then the EV is the last thing. I guess we'll just stay in and we'll Body Slam. Oh, well. So much for that. Oh, at least you're raising your Pokemon. Of course I am. I heard there was a Cut Master on board, but he was just a seasick old man. But Cut itself is really useful. You should go see him. Smell ya. Alright, always a pleasure. We're gonna move Rossetti back to the front now that that's over. Now, before we move on, I do need to make something very clear to you guys. This is like the only time in the game where you have a like completely missable, like you can't go back type thing, resulting in missable items. So make sure you do everything there is to do on SSN before we talk to the captain, okay? Of course, we've already done that, but in case you haven't, this is your final warning. Especially those TMs. There are 2 TMs, Rest and Body Slam. Both of them only appear here, and if you leave without getting them, you'll never get them ever again. So I can't read this book. Really? Oh, here we go. How to conquer seasickness. The captain's reading this. I would say he's not reading this right now. What's going on in here? Yuck, you shouldn't have looked. Bookshelf? Crammed full of Pokemon books. Okay. Fine, let's talk to him. Ugh, I feel hideous. Ugh, seasick. Red rubbed the captain's back. Phew, thank you. I feel much better. You wanted to see my cut technique? I could show you if I wasn't ill. I know, you can have this. Teach it to your Pokemon and you can see it cut anytime. We got HM of 1. Oh, that was it? There was no fanfare for that? Oh, he actually says something different. Phew! Now that I'm not sick anymore, I guess it's time. Time to leave. Alright, well, so yeah, we got HM01, our first hidden machine in the game. If you are not entirely sure what the difference is between TMs and HMs, I've kind of mentioned it before, but we'll say it again. HMs are infinite use, TMs are single time use. And the reason that HMs are infinite use is because they're progression items. You need the moves that they teach to be able to do things in the overworld to essentially remove like progression locks, right? As such, we're going to be teaching this to someone on our team. Yeah, there's only one Pokemon that can learn it. And Rossetti is the only candidate we have. Let's go ahead and get rid of... what do I want to get rid of here? I'm going to get rid of Sand Attack. I probably should get rid of Growl, but I just really hate Sand Attack. So, there we go. Now no cut. And, you may recall that the Cascade badge that we got from Misty, that gym, allows us to use cut outside of battle. That was like one of the sticking points for it, right? And now we finally have cut, so... there we go. Our second dungeon? First dungeon? I don't know, Pokemon and the word dungeon is kind of a weird combination, but regardless, it is finished now. And there goes. All that XP, all those items, gone forever. And they do make you watch this whole thing. I'm not just like standing here to stand here. Nope. And then it auto walks you out, so. There we go. If we try to go back in, the ship set sail. He's like, bro, get a hint. So, yeah, we've accomplished all of that. We now have the access to cut, and you might have noticed that the gym down here is inaccessible without being able to cut down this tree or surf around it, but we don't have access to surf currently, right? Because this side's blocked by a stupid sign. It is what it is, but I'm gonna go heal. I'm gonna also sort my inventory out a little bit, and then we will get moving again. Alright, now you might be expecting that we'd go take on the gym. You would be wrong. No, we are actually, in fact, gonna go through Diglett's cave here, like properly, and go out the other side. So this is gonna be a walk and a half. Okay, here we go. Go. Oh my god. Oh, we were almost doing good. So yeah, there is actually nothing in here. Like, it's completely empty of items. It's just a long, winding tunnel of emptiness. Oh, we made it. Hey, dude. I went to Rock Tunnel, but it's dark and scary. If a Pokemon's flash could light it up. Interesting. Interesting proposal there. Alright. We've made it outside. So yeah, this is actually Route 2, if you remember Route 2. And specifically, this is north of Viridian Forest. That's the exit to Viridian Forest. And up here, if we use our new and improved cut, bam, we can go ahead and enter into Beauty City. We're back. So why are we back? Well, there's actually something that was gated by cut that we couldn't get before, and now we can get. So we come up here. There's this skinny little bush or whatever they call it in the way. Go into the Pokemon menu and select cut manually every time. You can't just press A on the tree. I wish. Let's talk to this guy. We are proud of 2 fossils. We are proud of 2 fossils of very rare prehistoric Pokemon. That's kind of weird grammar. You can't sneak in the back way. Oh, whatever. Do you know what amber is? No. Amber is fossilized tree sap. I did know that. What happens if you say yes? Yes. There's a lab somewhere trying to resurrect ancient Pokemon from amber. You don't say. I think that this chunk of amber contains Pokemon DNA. It would be great if Pokemon could be resurrected from it. But my colleagues just ignore me. Well, I mean, that guy was talking about it. So I have a favor to ask. Take this to a Pokemon lab and get it examined. And it just gives us old amber. So yeah, this is actually quite important for you completionists out there, because if you didn't put 2 and 2 together, this is a Pokemon. Just not one that we have access to for quite a while, so definitely worth picking that up. Now, at the same time, if you happen to catch either the extra Abra or the extra Clefairy that I talked about, now would be the time to withdraw that. Alright, so I did in fact get the Lumen Imposter that we caught back in Mountain Moon. If you don't have a Clefairy and you're playing Pokemon Yellow, you can still go get one at Mount Moon, obviously, and we do have access to it, right? So there's that. If you didn't get an Abra and you're playing red or blue, then you're going to have to go back to Route 24 or 25 to get one. But regardless, if we go down here, a fainted Pokemon can't fight, but can still use moves like Cut. Is that so? That's pretty cool. I'm looking for Clefairy. I want to trade one for Mr. Mime. Yes. Yeah, so this is what the extra Clefairy was for. We'll make sure we give the correct one. Not that Clefable is a Clefairy and would be tradable, but you know. Okay, connect the cable like so. And there you go. You can do trading without another person. Thanks, in-game trades. But yeah, you might be like, what the heck is a Mr. Mime? Mr. Mime is the only, or one of the only Pokemon in this game that you need to actually do an in-game trade to get. There's no place in the wild to catch it for whatever reason. So that's why it's very important that you do this trade. If you're playing Red and Blue, like I've said a couple of times now, instead of a Clefairy, the guy's going to ask for an Abra. So keep that in mind. And there it is. Take good care of Mr. Mime. Yay! Hey, thanks! Alright, let's take a look at it. Miles. Miles the Mr. Mime. OT trainer. Nice original trainer. So yeah, this is our boy here. The thing to know about in-game trade Pokemon is that they come at the same level as the Pokemon you trade over. So the Clefairy we traded was level 11, which means that this Mr. Mime was level 11 when it was given to us. But we could have trained it to level 100, traded it, we would have gotten a level 100 Mr. Mime. Cool, cool. Now, this is considered an outsider Pokemon, much like any traded Pokemon that you do, even with real people. and as such it is subject to outsider Pokemon things, like boosted XP rate, disobeying you if it's too high a level, things like that. So all things to keep in mind. Let's go ahead and look at its Pokedex entry though. It's all the way down here. It's even further down? No, it's a little bit above here. There it is. I thought it was 130 something for some reason. Mr. Mime. Guys, I think that this might just be like a human man that was dressed as a mime that they stuffed into a Pokeball and called a Pokemon and then traded to us, because like it's pretty sus, right? I mean, the guy's name is literally Miles, and there are no wild Mr. Mimes anywhere. You're telling me there are none? That just seems so unlikely. And then like this guy just happens to have the only Mr. Mime in existence, and he's hiding out on like a random house on the side of the friggin' forest where like no one ever goes. Oh well, it's probably fine. Yeah, we have another psychic type on our hands. There's quite a lot of them lately, but to their credit, they do manage to make each of the psychic types feel unique. So if you've not picked one up yet, this might be the one for you. We're going to look at the base stats first and foremost, like we always do. And you might be looking at them and going, this is just a nerf Kadabra. I mean, it's got a worse special than even Abra did, though it's still pretty good overall. And it just has like better HP attack and defense, but really like that's not really saying much. They're still bad, and sure, it's going to be like physically bulkier to some like relevant extent, but not enough for me to be like, yeah, that makes up for it. It really doesn't. It should, like, the extra special that Kadabra has is worth way more. And worse yet, 90 speed is like not what you want to see on a Pokemon that's going to be as frail as Mr. Mime is. But it's also like not a deal breaker. Mr. Mime could still put in a lot of work and get the job done. On top of that, you might be looking at these stats and going, these are pretty solid for like a like an early game Pokemon like this that is like a first stage. And you might be right, except that Mr. Mime doesn't evolve. This is the first Pokemon we've run into that doesn't evolve. Isn't that crazy? I don't know why some Pokemon don't evolve. It's kind of weird, honestly. It's kind of like the whole thing with Pokemon is that they evolve. But they do have these like random singular Pokemon that don't evolve. Mr. Mime happens to be one of them. They're kind of a mixed bag. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. I'd say Mr. Mime is kind of like on average, if not good. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the moveset that I've recommended here. First up, we have Psychic, of course. I do need to mention though that unlike the other Psychic types we've seen, Mr. Mime doesn't learn Psychic by level up for some reason. So you'll have to invest the Psychic TM into it, which kind of sucks. Actually, it kind of really sucks. I wouldn't say there's a ton of other Pokemon you'd rather put the Psychic TM on, like in addition for like coverage or whatever. But it still does suck. Like there's no getting around that fact. So just keep that in mind. I wouldn't say it's a deal breaker necessarily unless you're planning to use Psychic TM on something. But I wouldn't say that most people are going to be planning to use Psychic TM on something. So do with that information what you will. The second move though, Thunderbolt. We've not seen any other Psychic type so far that has been able to even learn Thunderbolt. So this is the one advantage that Mr. Mime truly has, the uniqueness to it. It has a slightly wider move pool than most Psychic types, at least most pure Psychic types. It does learn Thunderbolt, obviously, but it does also learn Thunder. I mean, what Pokemon learns Thunderbolt but not Thunder? I don't think there are any. So it's got both of those moves, and then it's also got Solar Beam for some reason. So it can put its large special stat to use on things other than Psychic, which is really nice for it actually. We of course have decided to go with Thunderbolt, and that's just because Solar Beam is kind of useless. Like it's just a 2-turn move that does less damage per turn, and it doesn't do anything for us that Thunderbolt doesn't do. Like the main reason you want to put Thunderbolt on here is to cover against other Psychic types, and Thunderbolt will hit water Psychic types just as well as Solar Beam does, but with more damage per turn. So yeah, just put Thunderbolt on here. And then of course we have Seismic Toss, the classic. You gotta put Seismic Toss on something like this. And then finally Thunder Wave. Mr. Mime kind of gets a weird moveset where he's got like Barrier and Meditate and Substitute and all these other moves that are like kind of fun to play around with, but it's hard to beat the classics, and that's what we've gone with. I mean, it's kind of cut and dry, right? We've seen this moveset before, so not much unique to say about it. And yeah, that's all I got. It's just another pure psychic type that has like a slightly wider move pool, which does make it, it makes it pretty nice. It gives it a use that you might actually find a reason that you'd want to use it over the other ones for, or just in general. So, good Pokemon. Can recommend. It can be kind of a pain to get, and maybe that will turn you off from it, but if you put in the effort, I don't think it's that bad to get one. Like, just catching a Clefairy or an Abra isn't all that bad. Solid Psychic type. The Barrier Pokemon always practices its pantomime act. It makes enemies believe something exists that really doesn't. Alright, cool. So, that was like the big deal about coming down here. We are not using Mr. Mime on the team. I am sorry to disappoint everyone. I just don't have the specific need for this Pokemon specifically. But it can stick around while we explore a little bit more. Once a Pokemon learns Flash, you can get through Rock Tunnel. We've been hearing a lot about Rock Tunnel. Hi, remember me? I'm Professor Oaks 8. Don't remind me. One of you bullied me. If you caught 10 kinds of Pokemon, I'm supposed to give you an HM05. So, Red, have you caught at least 10 kinds of Pokemon? No! Oh, I see. When you get 10 kinds, come back for HM05. Okay, yes, I have. In fact, we've got 28 kinds now. Yes. Yes. Great, you have caught 28 kinds of Pokemon. Congratulations. Here you go. Why, thank you. The HM Flash lights even the darkest dungeons. So yeah, we got our next HM already, back to back. HM05 Flash. Of course, we're going to be teaching this to someone on our team. I wonder who it can be, guys. I wonder who it is. Did you guess Chubby Chew? Because you're wrong, it's Lumen. It's actually Miles? No, it is Lumen. I feel like even though Chubby Chew could learn it, Chubby Chew kind of needs all the help it can get. So we'll waste one of Lumen's move slots here. Specifically, we'll just get rid of Growl, because why not? And learn Flash. Bam. If you don't know what Flash does, it in battle, it just lowers the accuracy of the opponent. And it's not like 100% accurate, so it's kind of dumb. Ooh, an HP up. We're going to use that, actually. And then outside of battle, it has one very specific niche purpose that we'll get into when it pops up. HP up. Yeah, we gotta get that to Lumen. It would be so wasted on resetting. One more item for our troubles. Another Moonstone. Yeah, if you were worried about Moonstones, don't be, because we got another one. And I think that's it, though. Right. If you, of course, come out right here, this will be the other side, and you'll get to Viridian City. And in fact, we actually do want to visit Viridian City. I nearly forgot. So I'll go ahead and do that. It is kind of cool that you can, like, skip Viridian Forest by doing that. I do like that. But yeah, you might recall that this little thing is here with a guy behind it. Oh my god. Goddamn dig. And yeah, there's nothing but besides the guy, but the guy is here. Yawn. I must have dozed off in the sun. I had this dream about a drowsy eating my dream. What's this? Where did this TM come from? This is spooky. Here, you can have this TM. Yeah, he just gives you a TM for free. Aren't you glad we came back? And if you didn't pick up on the hint, this is, in fact, the TM for Dream Eater. I'm not going to be teaching Dream Eater anything. I don't even think anything I have can learn Dream Eater, but yeah, that is all of the things that we need to go back for with Cut. So at this point, I'm actually going to just go back through Diglett's Tunnel to get to Vermilion City again. I'll meet you guys back there, alright? Oh my god, we ran into a Dugtrio. I heard like the other noise and I looked back over and ooh, boy, it's quite intimidating. And we're one level away from that ourselves. Oh, by the way, I'm also like right at the end of the cave. Thank god we didn't get another encounter. So yeah, we've made it back to Vermilion City and we didn't battle anything, right? Right. I should really dump Miles in the box, though. We don't need to keep him on us. So I'm going to go do that real quick. Okay, as we start out the water, let's go ahead and enter the gym. We're just not going to waste any time. Cut that thing down. Do it. Do it. Alright, in we go. Yo, Champion Making. Lieutenant Surge is a nickname. People refer to him as the Lightning American. Okay. He's an expert on electric Pokemon. Birds and water Pokemon are at risk. Beware of paralysis too. Lieutenant Surge is very cautious. You'll have to break a code to get to him. Okay, Vermilion City Pokemon Gym. Leader Lieutenant Surge. Winning trainers is blue. Of course it's blue. It reminded me that we didn't read the sign out here, I don't think. Vermilion City Pokemon Gym. Leader Lieutenant Surge. The Lightning American. I'm glad that, we have some Japanese view on Americana in here. Classic. And this is back in the the 90s. Well, we have our ground type, and this is why I was recommending you pick up a Diglett. This is no place for kids. Yeah, we're gonna steamroll like the entire gym. You can't touch this, as they say. It's quite high level. I'm enjoying the level curve while we have it. And you should too. Wow, surprised me. I'm a lightweight, but I'm good with electricity. What is that? Okay. I feel like your weight has nothing to do with how good of a trainer you are. A rocker. Go ahead and dig. Dig, dig, dig. I still can't believe they set up an electric gym right next to a cave with Digletts in it. Feels kind of short-sighted. But also, I suppose in universe, there's no, like, intentionality behind, like, well, I'm like a boss character. Ooh, level 26. I'm like a boss character, and so, you know, we can't give our counter away like that easily. Or maybe no one has ever ventured out there and even knows it exists. No one in Vermilion City ever leaves it. Fried. What? Rossetti is evolving? Welcome to the team. Let me take a good hard look at you. Oh yes. Oh yeah, look at that speed. 73. Marvelous. Marvelous. Alright. As neat as that is, there is one more trainer to take out. When I was in the Army, Lieutenant Surge was my strict CO. Do you know what that means? Means commanding officer? Another Voltorb. I see we've hit the bottom of the barrel. Yeah, used to no chance. And this isn't even like a wild Doug trio. This is a Diglett that I evolved myself. You all should run. Fear me. Yes, yes! Stop, you're very good. More like I'm cheating, realistically speaking. Okay. Let's go ahead and talk about the puzzle that the gym wants to throw at you. So, the store is blocked. We can't get to the gym leader. But you can see there's a bunch of trash cans around here. The puzzle for this gym involves you clicking all the trash cans, and then at some point we will find not just trash in the trash can. Come on, game, work with me here. Oh my god. I think I went the wrong side. As far as I know, it's basically random. But there's like, there's probably some RNG manipulation or something that you can use. Hey, there's a switch under the trash. Turn it on. And it opened. Alright, let's save. Because, if I'm not mistaken, you can just save. And then the second one's a lot easier. So there is a second one. And the trick with the second one is it's always going to be adjacent to the first one. And that could either be up, down, left, or right, but not diagonal. I'm just going to go for this one. Boom. Easy. The second electric lock opened. The motorized door opened. Bam. Now, if you leave and try to come back, I think it'll close again. You'll have to do it again. So don't do that to yourself. And on top of that, if you choose the wrong one, I think you can reset. And unfortunately, I don't know if it's actually like set in stone beforehand or if it's random on whichever one you click. Like it just rolls it up and it's like, is it gonna be this one? Nope. Okay. So you might have to just like keep resetting over and over again until you finally get it. In other words, I don't know if it wasn't this one, if it was guaranteed to be this one. I'm just putting that out there. Alright, let's go ahead and talk to this guy. Dan Hut, welcome to Vermilion Gym. Will you look at that, a pint-sized challenger. Ah ha ha, you've got big and brassy nerves to take me on with your puny power. A Pokemon battle is war. I'll show you, civilian. I'll shock you into surrender. I don't think he knows, guys. I don't think he saw me fighting all the gym trainers. Look at him squatting. He doesn't skip leg day. Ooh, a Raichu. A level 28 Raichu too. That's actually kind of impressive, but not impressive enough. A Growl. Okay, please, please, don't insult me like that. Okay. We even got a crit for good measure. That's how fast we are. I don't feel bad at all. Whoa! You're the real deal, kid. Fine then, take the Thunder Badge. The Thunder Badge cranks up your Pokemon speed. It also lets your Pokemon fly anytime, kid. You're a special, kid. Take this. TM24. TM24 contains Thunderbolt. Teach it to an electric Pokemon. Yeah. We got Thunderbolt, baby, as a TM. And you know what? We're immediately going to use it. This is one of those, like, immediate uses. Guess who we're teaching it to? That's right, it's Lumen. The only other option. One of those coverage moves to take care, or to take advantage of Lumen Special. Get rid of Sing for that. No more putting things to sleep. Not a huge deal though. Paralysis will suffice. What do you guys say? Ew, that match was electric. All right, we're 3 badges in now. I feel good about things. I mean, we kind of had it easy, but hold on. Let's remove you from the front of our party so that it like hides the fact that you exist. So now I can brag to the officer here and be like, "Look, I won. You have the Thunder badge. You must be a good trainer. I just caught a Squirtle that was always getting into mischief. Would you take good care of it?" Of course. Do you want to give a nickname to Squirtle? No. Okay, please treat Squirtle right. So yeah, there we go. We got a Squirtle. Look at it. Aw, it's so cute. Fun fact, my mom really likes turtles for some reason. So, as such, she likes Squirtle, obviously. Let's go ahead and take a look. Finally, after all these years, I've collected them all. We've gotten the easy mode, we've gotten the hard mode, and now we've finally gotten the medium mode, or the normal mode, as they say about the Kanto trio of starters with Squirtle here. I will, of course, be remiss not to immediately point out that it being medium mode is, of course, supported by its base stat total being in between that of Bulbasaur and Charmander. It's 1 point higher than Charmander's, 3 points lower for some reason than Bulbasaur's, even though their evolutions end up being the same. It's weird, I don't get it, but whatever. On top of that, there was a new pattern that I noticed that I felt the need to share, which is the fact that the base EXP yield of Charmander is 1 higher than the base EXP yield of Bulbasaur, and similarly, Squirtle's base EXP yield is 1 higher than Charmander's. So it kind of like goes up in increments of 1 by Pokedex order. You know, Bulbasaur is Pokedex 1, Charmander is Pokedex 4, and Squirtle here is Pokedex 7. This is true also for each of their evolutionary stages. They each are incremented by 1 in Pokedex order. It's also really weird and I don't get it, but I thought it was a cool pattern that I noticed, so there you go. Now, obviously, if we look at Squirtle's stats here, it's got a specialization into defense, and I'm not going to pretend like that's like necessarily like great thing for it. It kind of got the short end of the stick here because special and speed, which is Bulbasaur and Charmander's respectively specialized stats, are just better to specialize in this particular generation. But out of all the other remaining options, defense is probably either the best or the second best one. It's definitely not HP, because HP would have been the worst one, but I could see an argument for attack. Regardless though, defense also kind of just fits the water type. Water type kind of naturally lends itself to be a bulky type, so I do want to point out though that high defense kind of helps out Squirtle a lot compared to even Bulbasaur, for instance, because in the early game, which is of course where Squirtle is, it will be able to soak up all of the normal type damage way easier than the other Pokemon just because of its higher defense, right? And so even in that like first rival fight they do, when we didn't necessarily get to see this, but the rival will choose the starter Pokemon that you are weak to. So if you choose Charmander, they'll choose Squirtle. If you choose Squirtle, they'll choose Bulbasaur. And if you choose Bulbasaur, they'll choose Charmander. In that fight, if you are using Squirtle, you should be able to soak up the damage from that Bulbasaur way better than it will soak up the damage from you, because you both are just using normal type moves on each other. And so I would imagine Squirtle just wins that most of the time, unless there's crits involved. Or maybe even just like DV randomization BS. But, you know, on an even playing field with a theoretically perfectly even match, Squirtle should just win every time. Although, well, they both have tackle, so even then, statistically speaking, it should be the same. It gets kind of dicey with Charmander. I don't know if at that low a level, the defense truly matters that much, such that the speed allowing Charmander to go first would actually matter more. But regardless, beyond like the first, level 5, level 6, level 7, so on and so forth, as Squirtle goes throughout the game, normal type physical moves are just everywhere, and so that high defense actually helps Squirtle out quite a bit, just like surviving stuff and stuff like that. And yeah, so I don't want to linger on Squirtle for too long, so we're going to go ahead and move on to its evolution at level 16, War Turtle. First of all, I gotta say, I think that they cooked on the designs for these specific Pokemon, like this evolutionary family. Like, I don't know what they were on when they decided to design the Squirtle line, but I think it's peak Pokemon design. I think War Turtle specifically is probably one of the best evolution or mid-stage evolution designs of all time. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that I like more than it as a middle stage evolution. And its evolution specifically, also the final evolution, is also really goated. Just in general, even these Gen 1 Pokemon Yellow sprites, I think, all just seal the deal for me. They're so good. But I digress. Something that I don't think I've talked about yet is how the starter Pokemon kind of have terrible move pools, and that's not exactly new news in a sense, but specifically their level up move pools are pretty terrible, and pretty much all of them get stuck with 40 base power, low damage stab moves for quite a long time. The worst of which is Charmander getting stuck with Ember until it finally learns Flamethrower at level 46 as a Charizard, which is quite ridiculous. More realistically, you're probably just going to grab the TM for Fire Blast at around the 4th gym, and Fire Blast is kind of a bittersweet upgrade because, yeah, it's really powerful, but it's also 85% accurate, and it's also got low PP, which kind of sucks. So not exactly great there, just all around not a good situation. And then Bulbasaur gets stuck with Vine Whip for quite a while until it finally gets Razor Leaf at like level 30 or something. And then even then, Razor Leaf is like on a Ivysaur or a Venusaur specifically, not the best move in the world. And even Giga Drain or Solar Beam, not exactly thrilling moves to use in Gen 1. So when it comes to stab, it's just kind of weird in Gen 1 for the starter Pokemon specifically. But War Turtle, on the other hand, kind of circumvents this because it gets access to Bubble Beam via the 2nd gym, which can then help it through the mid game much more soon and much more able than any of the other starters. And that's not even its final form, right? Like, you can upgrade Bubble Beam later, unlike with, like, say, Razor Leaf, which you get later than you get Bubble Beam. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. But to be able to talk about that, we're going to have to go ahead and go into its final evolution at level 36. Blastoise. Look at that design. I absolutely love the idea of a armored turtle as a Pokemon, and then also just the like shoulder cannons coming out of its shell. Really dope. It's basically a tank, and I love it. I love it so much. Even though I had Charmander as my first starter Pokemon, and I love Charizard's fire-breathing dragon lizard aesthetic that's got going on, I can't deny that I think Blastoise wins the design competition for the Kanto starters, but that's just my opinion, my humble opinion. So, I mean, Blastoise is, just kind of the bog standard final starter. It's got specialized stat, it's got good other stats, it's got the same base stat total as everything else. There isn't much new to be said here. I do adore that its attack and its special are staying in the game. It makes it quite versatile, honestly, and I do enjoy that. And that's not more well represented than in its move pool. So let's go ahead and talk about the recommended moveset. First up, we have Surf. Surf is base 95 power, it's 100% accurate. It's the best 100% accurate water type move in the game, and it's infinitely teachable because it's an HM. So it's just a go-to move. You could save up for Hydro Pump at like level 50 something, 52. And that's 120 base power, 80% accurate, which I think we talked about with Gyarados, if I'm not mistaken. But regardless, I decided to go Surf because I don't think that Blastoise needs to like go all in on the high damage move, because it's so bulky that it can just sit there and spam the move that's guaranteed to hit outside of accuracy drops, and then just rack up the damage over time while also soaking up its own damage that's taking, right? I think it's perfectly suited for that, and therefore doesn't need to take all the big risks, right? Then we have its second move, Blizzard. Pretty much most water types in Pokemon also learn ice type moves for some reason, and this one is no exception. So Blastoise does get access to both Ice Beam and Blizzard, and of course in Gen 1, Blizzard's just goated. It's 120 base power, 90% accurate for some godforsaken reason, and therefore it's just the best move in the game pretty much, outside of like Psychic, right? And so we basically put it on anything that can learn Blizzard. And it also has the added benefit of covering for Blastoise's grass weakness, which is really nice. And then additionally, we have Earthquake, because for some reason, Blastoise gets access to Earthquake, Fissure, and Dig. Of course, Earthquake's the only one we really care about, and that's why it's on here, but I mean, sheesh, man. That is the coverage for its only other weakness, Electric type. That means that's like one of the only Pokemon that I can even think of in Gen 1 that has perfect type coverage for its weaknesses. That's not like a Psychic type, because that's cheating, right? They win on a technicality because they basically have no weaknesses. Like, boo. That makes Blastoise really cool. I like that it gets Earthquake, and it can even use it well because its attack and its special are basically the same. Like, it's basically a mixed attacker. It can just do it, you know? If you want to put Earthquake on it, sure, go ahead. You know, it'll use it solidly, even though it doesn't get stabbed. But regardless, on the other end of things, we finally have the fourth move, Substitute. Now, this one's kind of a weird one. Substitute is my attempt to try and utilize its defense stat, kind of. There's not really good options to be able to use its defense stat. Like, there are defense raising moves that it gets access to. You might have been thinking about Skull Bash, and yes, Blastoise does get access to Skull Bash, even by level up, but Skull Bash in Gen 1 doesn't actually raise your defense, which is kind of weird, but whatever. So it was kind of out of the question for me. It's basically just a two-turn move that has like no real upside. So that left like, you know, like something like Mimic or Reflect or Double Team or something. And ultimately, even though I don't love Substitute for endgame, just because of dealing with the weird AI, I think Substitute actually kind of works well on Blastoise, just because it's got like the defense, or the bulk rather, to be able to soak up extra damage that it needs to make Substitute worth it. And on top of that, it could really benefit from not being statused. So that's the main reason I put it on here. There's also a synergy that you could use with the move Counter, which Blastoise is kind of uniquely suited to use. Counter in Gen 1 is really weird. It only works on damage dealing normal and fighting type moves specifically that are not also counter. You can't just like do like a counter loop with both of you using counter against each other. No doing that, but otherwise other normal and fighting type moves that do damage work just fine for some reason. And other physical damaging types don't work at all. No ground type moves, no poison type moves, no nothing, right? So because that move only works on normal and fight type moves, which are physical damage, and Blastoise has a high defense stat, it can tank those and then dish them back. And that's really good. It's quite nice, honestly, for it. But for in-game, I didn't really like it all that much, because when you get to the point where when you would want to use that, it's things aren't using damage dealing, normal or fighting type moves all that often anymore. And like even when you do run into something that uses it, you're probably gonna want to use something else anyway. So that's why I didn't go for it. But the reason I said it has synergy with Substitute is because it works even when you have Substitute up for some reason. If you have Substitute up and then use Counter afterwards, even though the move that was just used will hit your Substitute, it will still let you counter that damage. It's kind of ridiculous, and I love that, but I wasn't willing to give up the two coverage moves for its weaknesses, so do with that information what you will. That's going to do it for me with the last starter here, as sad as it is to say. Obviously, if you're thinking about adding it to your team, really good Pokemon, hard to go wrong with it, though Blastoise kind of is in that weird predicament where water is the most abundant type of Pokemon in the game, and Blastoise definitely isn't the best water type in the game, but it's also not the worst, obviously, and that means that it's kind of easily replaceable, and therefore harder to recommend in that way. Like, you just have such a wealth of options that you don't have with, say, Charmander, because there's not a whole lot of fire types. And so Charmander might be more appealing, and using a Blastoise might be a little bit too cliche, right? All things to keep in mind. Let's go ahead and move on, get out of here. The tiny turtle Pokemon shoots water at prey while in the water, withdraws into its shell when in danger. And with that, we finally have the trifecta of all the starter Pokemon. Kind of. I mean, we don't have Blue's starter Pokemon, but you know what? It doesn't exactly roll off the tongue quite as well if we admit that. So now you might be wondering, what do we do now? We've exhausted all of our options. Like to the east is blocked, and unless we could do something about the Snorlax blocking the road, there's nowhere else to go. And to that I say, that's not true, obviously. What we're going to do is we're going to backtrack, because the way forward is actually to go backward a little bit. If you recall, there was actually a little skinny tree blocking a route off to the east of Cerulean. And so that's where we're headed. I will see you guys back when we get closer to the town. And here we are, we're back. We're just gonna go ahead and cut down this tree to get back in, instead of going around and doing the whole ledge jump thing. And you might recall that we did in fact get a bike voucher from the Pokemon Share Club leader person. Oh, that's a bike voucher! Okay, here you go. So yeah, we just get a bicycle. Screw your $1,000,000 Pokedollars. I have connections, baby. Yeah, I'm gonna actually move this up the chain of command so that I can get into my first slot, because there's no like registering system that you have in future games. And the bicycle, as you might expect, allows you to move faster in the overworld, which is quite valuable. So if we get on the bicycle. Look at this. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, you move quite a bit faster, and you get some nice biking music to go with it. Controlling your movement while you're on a bike is kind of a skill curve that you have to kind of get used to a little bit. But I believe in you, you can do it. Now, instead of going ahead and moving on, we're actually going to end the episode here. In between episodes, I'm going to be doing some item, like inventory management and stuff, and I'll deposit the Squirtle and things like that. So, that all said and done, Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you like the video, please hit like. If you really like the video, maybe you want to see more, consider subscribing. If you dislike the video, hit dislike. Otherwise, I'll see everyone next time.